I made a video a few days ago about demand barking and how we've been handling it, so I wanted to address some of the most common comments and questions I've got off the back of that video. First is around people saying, clearly if your dog's barking like that, their needs haven't been met. And to this I would say, everything that I could proactively do for my dog, I had done. So I'd fed him, we'd done a training session for mental enrichment, we had played and gone for a walk for physical enrichment. The one thing that maybe you could argue he was lacking was a nap. Maybe he was overtired, which led to the barking and led to him kind of malfunctioning in that way. But every other need had been met, and you can trust me on that or you could not trust me on that. The one thing that I've learned now that I wish I'd known sooner is the power of naps. So if you want to come from the perspective of saying maybe he was overtired, I'll give you that. Maybe he was overtired. The thing is though that his demand barking for play was never going to be the solution to that problem. And maybe in some instances it is. Maybe in some instances the dog is bored and they haven't played or they haven't been done a training session or exercised. Trust me, Vigo gets a lot of training and a lot of physical exercise. So it was not those things. The next question I get a lot of is, do we reward him after he's quiet? To be honest, he doesn't demand bark that much anymore. This was actually a pretty old video from when he was younger, and when he'd go through his witching hours were actually like peak witching hours. They're much better now. But I didn't want to reward him when he relaxed because I didn't want him to think that the loop to reward was bark, be quiet, reward, because that would then require him to bark to get the reward. What I do instead is when he's relaxed and quiet, I'll try and go and give him a treat if he's awake and just chilling by himself. So for example, yesterday we were at my in-laws house and Vigo was he was a saint. I was really proud of him. He wasn't begging for food at the table. He wasn't under our feet in the living room. He found a quiet corner to himself and he lay down and he just chilled. So every time I'd walk by him, I'd give him a little treat. And that, instead of teaching him to bark to get the reward, is showing him, okay, good things happen when I chill out and when I relax. And that's what I want to nurture in him and encourage in him. Another question I got was around people saying, my dog will go for 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. And first of all, I want to say that there's so much variation between dogs. And I think it's really easy for anyone to come onto TikTok or wherever and be like, oh, this is what worked for us. It's one size fits all. And it's definitely not. But I think if you do want to give the ignoring unwanted behaviors thing a chance, I would suggest setting a timer, which I said in the video, and keep track of how long your dog is barking before they give up every time. The good thing about this, my brain works like this, I love to see progress, is that over time you'll see, okay, it was 20 minutes, it was 17 minutes, it was 19 minutes, it was 15 minutes, and you'll start to see that number go down, which will make you feel really good. That would be my 2-cent suggestion if that's you. Alternatively, there's other ways of dealing with demand barking, so maybe speak to a trainer or do some other research around what other people have done that have worked for them. Again, this is just what I do. I'd love to hear what you do in the comments. Let me know if you have any more tips on demand barking or any other questions. Happy to share our experience.